there's so much here on Long Island that, I mean, makes it so homey. You can move out of state, but you're not getting places like this. And, you're not getting the Long Island wineries that are, again, some of them are so family oriented. Yeah.
By the way, do you need some more?
Yeah,
I feel like. Yes. I'm Kristen.
And I'm Sharon.
And we're here to spill the tea. Long Island tea. Hey, Sharon.
Hey, Kristen.
Welcome back to Long Island Tea Podcast.
Yay.
Another week, another wine.
Another wine that's delicious.
Yeah, it's where it says a recap.
Yeah,
wine.
I was gonna say a revisit.
Yeah, revisit. I was trying to think of what to say there. It's it's a good one that we're bringing back because we liked it so much.
Mm-hmm.
But first, before we get into that, how you doing?
I'm doing good today.
Oh
how
my gosh,
you doing?
I'm doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear
So I was on a call just yesterday with one of our colleagues in Nassau County, and we were starting a meeting, and he's like, "Kristen, before we start, I got to ask you a question." I'm like, "Okay." He's like, "How you doing?"
I love it. That's awesome.
I was like, "Oh my God, you listen. You listen
so
to them."
cute.
He's like big grin.
I love it.
I love it that people are listening.
That's amazing.
And it's really fun. So, and they're like, they love it. They're like, "How you doing?"
So
I'm
cute.
like, I just immediately light up. I'm like, "I'm doing. How you doing?" Also, I just wanted to tell you, juice cleanse is over, as you know. And
High five.
Yeah, well, whatever. And not sleeping again.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I was sleeping hardcore when I was on that cleanse, I think, because I was mostly bored and I had zero energy. I was exhausted.
You're like counting down to go to bed.
Right, and I had no fuel. But now I'm like, I was literally awake last night, and I was like, is this sleep paralysis or is it just insomnia? I don't know. When you're just like laying there thinking of everything, like everything in your head.
Yeah.
Multiple conversations, multiple scenarios. Do you do that ever?
Oh, I do that I'll get up in the middle of the night sometimes and then I'm wide awake.
Right.
And
then I know I'm probably dozing, but it feels to me because my mind is working like I'm not asleep, but I probably am asleep.
Right.
It's like that weird dream. Are you dreaming or not?
Yeah. I get to a point sometimes where I like make up situations.
Oh, no, I call that, you know what I call that? I do it, this is what I do all the time. I call it the Costanza. Do you know, did you see that Seinfeld?
George, yeah.
So for those of you that haven't seen the Seinfeld, Costanza is in a meeting and somebody says something to him and he doesn't think of the comeback until later.
Right.
And so then he's like, I should have said. And so then he tries to reset up the scenario the entire time so he can use the comeback.
That's funny.
This is what I do. I like rethink situations.
Mm-hmm. I don't even like, what happens if? That's kind of like what happens.
What if? Oh, no.
I go dark. It's bad.
Oh. What ifs are bad.
It's like shut it down.
No, I go back and relive literally every word
moment
that I've said and think about how I could have said or done that better. Anyway, so I guess to answer your question, doing good. So busy.
Oh, it's so busy.
Man, spring has sprung.
Mm-hmm.
And
totally.
It is like...
Totes my goats.
We are getting ready for our peak season on Long Island. And here we go. Like everything's reopening. And I feel it.
I know. We're getting ready, girl.
It was, we thought that quarantine and COVID was busy with all the lockdowns and the changes and the pivoting.
Things that we had to do.
And everything reopening is like, whoa.
I know.
And it's great.
It's so good. It's exciting. I mean, our partners are super excited. Our staff's excited to just get back into what we know and what we can do best for everyone. And it's just exciting. Here we go. Buckle up.
Yeah, buckle up. And we're welcoming back visitors now, and we're having weddings and events, and we're going out because the weather's amazing.
Yeah.
And everybody's asking us questions. I can't wait to get to our Uncorked Advice new segment.
So fun.
And today we're talking about small businesses.
Yeah.
And I love this topic.
Yeah. It's incredible because it's what makes us thrive. What makes our island survive, and we're made up of a million different small businesses, and I'm excited to talk to our guests.
Yeah, and because we always talk about tourism on Long Island is more than 84% made up of small businesses. Yeah. All of our downtowns are like mom and pops, and if you watch Long Island TV, you'll see them. The restaurants, they're not chain restaurants.
Right.
They're or even boutiques and retail and attractions, and I think it's more than any place I've ever been. It feels like so unique, and it's really, we talk about the Long Island community a lot.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it special.
Yeah. And our next guest, like, they're 60 years in business as a family-owned business. I mean,
I can't wait to talk to them because I feel like I have so many questions.
I know.
Kenzie, and I'm going to tell this to them, but my daughter Kenzie's always like, oh, why don't you have a business to hand down to me?
Oh, I love it.
First of all, I do. It's called the tourism industry.
I was going to say.
If you ever wanted to go into my industry, you could totally step into it. I know everybody. Like, where do you want to go?
Down the road, Kenz, you can come intern here.
Yeah, and she's like, nah.
No, I don't want to work for you.
Yeah. So anyway, when you're a family-owned business, I can't wait to talk to our guests about this because I wonder, I think there's been many a family-owned business that doesn't, that has ceased to exist because the younger generations don't want to take on that burden.
Yeah.
Or they want to create their own path.
Right. And the world that it's going, the way we're going. And it's like,
well, one of the longest, the longest family-owned business restaurant was on Long Island up until like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Claudio's.
Yeah. How long was that? Like 150 years?
It is a gazillion
years.
It was
like ridiculous an amount of years that it was just passed on to generation to generation.
I think it was like the longest running or the oldest family-owned business in America.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And it's called Claudio's on the waterfront, and it's in Greenport. It's still called Claudio's.
Yeah, they kept the name.
They sold it. The family sold it finally. And our very own Jamie Claudio, who we love and used to be our VP of marketing here. And this was her family.
Like one of our biggest fans.
I love her mom.
I know.
By the way, she's...
Shout out to Janice.
And honestly, I was saying she's what my daughters would call a bad biddy.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
She's a badass.
I love her.
and she ran, she and their whole family ran Claudio's on the waterfront, which if you have not been there, I mean, clearly everyone on Long Island's been there, right?
Sure. Yeah, I would
You
hope
think
so.
there can't be a Long Islander that has not been to Claudio's.
Right, exactly.
Right. Anyway, and if you have not been to Long Island, you've got to come and go to Claudio's.
Yeah, it's historical.
Especially in the summer because, let me tell you, it's like amazing. You're seeing the boats pull up.
Yeah.
There's live bands.
Yeah.
Everyone's drinking rosé and like you've got like lobster rolls.
I was going to say they have like the beautiful in-dining restaurant, but they also have like a crab shack outside on the deck, and like they have live music.
So they sold it a couple years ago, and the new owners have really expanded that whole like waterfront.
Yeah.
It's just so cool.
It's amazing.
Anyway, and it's reopening too. This week or next week, April. Claudio's. So anyway, I think Long Island is known for family-owned businesses.
Yeah,
and rightly so. Because I guess we held the record in America, and our guest today is a family-owned business that we're actually featuring in a week on Long Island TV, and they're called Adventureland.
Yeah.
Right, and it's a local theme park. And you know what? It's funny. I didn't know until I went there recently. Mm-hmm. I drove by and I kind of thought it was like kiddie rides,
right, like Carnival-esque type.
Yeah,
thing.
you see it from the road, and you're like, the swings, the flying swings and a little thing. And I'm like, okay.
The zipper.
Cute. I'm always like, my kids are older, so I'm kind of like, it's cute. But whoa.
It's funny. It's very Long Island, though, if you, like, that's one of your first jobs. Like 14 years old to, like, run the rides and stuff like that. Like, you're not a Long Islander if you didn't work a summer at Adventureland.
So it's so funny because, we had all of our kids, all of our teens there for the segment. Yeah. And so on camera, I was like, hey kids, tell me you're from Long Island without telling me you're from Long Island. And they were like, you've had a birthday party at Adventureland.
Yes, exactly.
And I was like,
exactly.
Right, exactly. Or you had a job there. So without further ado, let's welcome the owners of Adventureland.
Yay.
Jeanine, you are the daughter of the owners of the iconic Adventureland. So really, you're the owner of iconic Adventureland.
Yes, I am part of the family that owns Adventureland, and it's awesome. It's a family-owned and operated business, and it really, I wouldn't trade it for the world. It's so fun. It's amazing. Bringing Long Island the family fun, the family amusement park, and it's just so fun to have other families come into our family and have fun with us. It's priceless.
I have so many questions for you because, you met my daughters when we were there last week. Mm-hmm. And I was telling them earlier that my oldest daughter, Kinsey, was like, Mom, why don't you have a family business to hand down to me? And I'm kind of like, you can follow in my footsteps. And she's like, nah, I'm good.
That's so funny.
And so I wonder, because we were talking about like Claudio's and some other major family businesses. And I feel like each generation, and I want to talk to you about how Adventureland came to be and all of the things about it. But it's interesting to talk to you before your dad comes on, if he comes on.
Yeah.
So you can talk to us before he gets here.
Yeah,
in the code of silence. You can give us the tea. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Is it a burden? I mean, I'm sure it's amazing. But do you ever feel like obligated, like you don't really get a choice to carve your own path?
Honestly, no. I've never once felt like that. We went to school kind of with the intentions of joining the business, once we graduated. And no, I never once felt like that. I worked here. This is all I know. This is all I've ever done. This is all the only place I've really worked. And I started as a kid. I started, in the food stands, in the gift shop, wiping tables, making pretzels. Mm-hmm. And you worked your way up. And I was in the ticket booth as a cashier. And I, would put the bracelets on everyone, help them with their transactions. And before you knew it, I was scheduling the cashiers and managing social media and taking phone calls and emails. So I really did work my way up from the bottom. I didn't just get handed anything. You truly do work for what you have. And that's something the family has always taught us. You're not handed anything. No matter how family oriented the business might be, you're never going to be handed anything. You're always going to have to work for what you have. And my dad and my uncles have always taught us that from the very start. And that's something I admire them for doing. It's really cool to have gone through the steps, and the rewards are so much better when you've worked for it and you weren't just handed it.
So I have a question for you real quick. As a family, as being part of the family, did you spend every weekend there growing up, or like every summer, that's what
she was, you guys were the coolest kids.
Yeah.
You were the coolest kids.
Yeah.
They're cool. I don't know about that.
No, I mean, my kids think that I'm the coolest mom just because I can take them to Adventureland one day.
Right.
I can't imagine what it's like being the kid whose family owns Adventureland.
Yeah, no, it definitely was fun. I mean, there was, a lot of questions back then of, oh my God, that's so cool, this and that. But like, that's not us. That's not our family. We're not like that. So we like to kind of, fly with everyone else. And yeah, I mean, we had family outings, and my soccer team would come here, and we'd have school trips and stuff like that. My mom would put together for us, and it was great. We loved coming with our friends. There was nothing better. We did actually, after like a soccer game or something, we'd come to the park. Let's go see Dad. Let's go get a slice of pizza with him.
Right,
so it was fun. We would pop in every now and then, but we didn't like live here when we were kids.
Right,
you would think like we were here every weekend and riding the rides. We didn't do that. We definitely would pop in for visits and bring him dinner and let's get lunch and let me go tell Dad about my soccer game.
Yeah, so cute. Yeah.
I love that. So let's back up for a second, just for people that maybe don't know about Adventureland or even Long Island. So Adventureland is a theme park here, and it's actually in Farmingdale, right? Is that
right on Route 110?
Right. So right off like the main. Is that an expressway?
It's a highway.
It's a highway. Fine. Yeah. How did it come to be? It started in the 60s.
Yes, so 1962 is we've been here been an amusement park since 1962. Before it was a park, it actually was a farm. There was like a potato farm, and they grew potatoes and broccoli and all that kind of stuff. And then it was a family bought the farm over, made it into a amusement park. And then back in the day, my grandfather saw an article in the paper that was about the restaurant at an amusement park was up for sale. So him and his brother were like, oh, wow, that's interesting. Like, let's get involved. So they got involved in the restaurant. And then shortly after that, they had an opportunity to get into the amusement park. And so they did. They took that opportunity. And then my dad and my uncles came along, and they kind of helped my grandfather, make the amusement park what it is and, brought it to the next level of an amusement park. And then when my grandfather started, getting older and kind of slowing down, he never really stopped coming in. He just kind of like took a step back. He never wanted to give it up. He never wanted to say, I'm done with that place, because this was his life. He brought it to be what it was. And he brought it into our family. So then my dad and my uncle really stepped up, and they were like, all right, let's do this. Like, this is our time to, step up and take it over. So they did that, and then again, they brought it to the next level of an amusement park. And then now me and my brothers are coming in. That's where the next generation coming in and doing the same thing. My dad and my uncle are still very involved. They're here and very involved, not going anywhere anytime soon. But me and my brothers are the next in line, and some cousins that are there's everyone here. We have some cousins and uncles, and
I kind of want to get into something. It drives me insane as a transplant here that, everybody's like Long Island, the taxes, the traffic. The young people don't want to be here. They don't want to live here. Everyone's moving away. How do you feel when you hear people talking about young people on Long Island? Do you pay attention to that?
Yeah, I mean, you do hear it often, like you said, taxes are so high, houses are so expensive, properties are, so small for what you get. And you could go out of state and pay the same amount for so much nicer and bigger. Parts of that could be true, but there's so much here on Long Island that, makes it so homey. You could move out of state, but you're not getting places like this. And, you're not getting the Long Island wineries that are, again, some
Cheers.
of them are so family oriented. Yeah.
By the way, do you need some more, Sharon?
Yes,
I
I
feel
do.
like, yeah. Speaking of Long Island wineries, you know what? And I think that's it. I really think that, some people have to leave
Right.
to appreciate it, and then they come back. And I'm
Agreed.
sure you've probably seen that in a lot of your friends.
Yep. Absolutely.
And once you leave, it's hard to come back.
It is hard to come back, but once you come back, it's like, I'm back.
Sharon did that. She left and came back, so she's speaking from experience.
Yeah, there's just so much here on Long Island that makes Long Island Long Island.
Yeah,
and
100%.
you can't duplicate that.
So what's your favorite place? What do you do where do you go other than Adventureland for fun?
Other than Adventureland, I love the beach. On my off days, you could find me at the beach.
What's your favorite beach?
My favorite, I typically go to Robert Moses when we're going.
That's a local answer right there. That is a Long Island, true and true.
Yep.
Robert Moses Beach.
Yep.
Which is so funny because I don't think I've ever even been to Robert Moses Beach because I don't understand the difference between Robert Moses Beach and Jones Beach.
Was it like 50 miles?
Honestly, I was the same way for the longest time. And my mom was like, oh, we're going to Robert Moses next week at Jones Beach. I'm like, wait, I didn't know they were different.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's the same place. You cross the bridge.
Yeah.
And you're right there.
I agree.
But that's how you know you're a real Long Islander is because Long Islanders wouldn't say Jones Beach. They say Robert Moses Beach.
Yeah.
I know.
It's like this little section.
It's
It's unbelievable.
That's awesome.
so funny. It's the little things.
I know. What about do you guys live in Farmingdale? Like, what's your favorite downtown?
We don't live in Farmingdale, but I love Farmingdale Main Street. Like, there's just so many fun little eateries and bars for nightlife. There's just so many cool places down there. Probably some I don't even know about. I feel like within the past year or so, obviously I haven't really gone anywhere, but I feel like there's been new places through getting through COVID that new places are coming up, and I'm really excited to try them. And I feel like there's just it's growing.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think you're right.
Definitely.
I think, we talked about it when I was there with your dad and everything, but I feel really strongly that, people maybe sometimes take what's in our own backyard for granted.
Mm-hmm.
And as a result of 2020, we're like, there's a renewed gratitude
100%.
about what's in your backyard. And you guys said your phones have been ringing off the
Oh my
hook.
gosh, you probably hear them. I apologize.
It's okay. It's good.
But yes, they've been ringing. People are excited. I think they're just excited to get out of their house. Fresh air. They're excited to be outside. I mean, the amusement park, you can't get more outside than that. And people are eager and excited. They're ready to put all this COVID behind them. And of course, with safety protocols in place. We're so excited. I think the guests are just as excited.
Yeah, and we've been waiting and in daily conversations with you guys for the entire year. We've been waiting for this day to come where we could welcome people back to Adventureland.
Yeah.
And Sharon, we've did a little research on Adventureland.
So one of the things we did some research on is what different films were filmed at Adventureland.
Okay.
But one of our favorite things, I have to say, is that Twisted Sister performed there in the 1980s.
Dee
Yes.
Snider was on the show. Dee Snider was on the show right before Christmas.
Okay.
He had a new Christmas song. So we love Dee Snider.
Yeah, it was so fun.
That was we actually have a poster down in our arcade area. We have like kind of like posters throughout the decades, and there's a whole poster on how they performed here, back then. And people still to this day ask like, when are you doing something like that again? When are they coming back? And people still remember it. It's awesome.
That is awesome.
But real quick, Sharon, before you go on, because that's one of the things you guys did during COVID is that you couldn't open the park, so you started having parking lot concerts.
And movie theater or no?
Yeah, no, just concerts.
Yeah.
And so you've got one coming up, right? You're doing it still.
Yeah, we actually were supposed to have one tonight. We were supposed to have Mike Del Judas performing in a drive-in concert here in the parking lot. But unfortunately, it got rescheduled due to the weather.
Yeah,
so now
he's the Billy Joel
next week.
cover,
yeah,
right?
Billy Joel cover band. Yeah, in fact, Billy Joel shows up to his concerts all the time. Did you know that?
When are we going?
I know.
So let us know when that's rescheduled.
Cool.
And I think Billy Joel has actually had him at Billy Joel's concert to sing some of his songs because he does.
I think I've heard that too.
It's amazing.
It is. Imagine him coming. Like, he's from Long Island too. So we actually had Mike Del Judas perform last summer when we, did the concerts again, and everyone was like, "Oh my God, you think he'll make a guest appearance? Do you think?" He never did.
Honestly,
but we were like, I'm cool with that thing.
Always looking for Billy Joel. I feel like he's going to show up.
Just go hang out in Oyster Bay.
Is that where
he'll be there?
That's where his motorcycle collection is.
Yeah.
Did you know that? Billy Joel has his motorcycle collection on display in Oyster Bay in downtown.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
No, he just like shows up everywhere. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead, Sharon.
So the film Adventureland, did you guys have any part in that? Or, I mean...
No, actually, believe it or not, it really has nothing to do with our park.
Oh, wow.
A lot of people associate it with our park, but it's just the name. It has really nothing to do with us.
Well, Wikipedia says it's based on the guy's experience working at your park. That's total lies.
Well, so he worked here, but like it was a very brief time. But that's it. That's like the only thing, really.
So he did work there, and so he just used it as like a storyline. Okay, this is the tea. Well, we're getting the good tea right now. Okay, I'm glad you cleared that up because everyone.
A lot of people do think that.
Yeah.
So
well, listen,
I could see that. Why you would.
Yeah. Listen. Go with it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's my advice. Run with it.
The firework displays at the park have grown crowds so big that you have to close down 110. Is that true?
Oh yeah, I don't even remember that. Yeah. But yes, back in the day for 4th of July, we used to do a fireworks show, and literally the cars on 110 would park.
Oh my
gosh! They would literally park on 110 and watch the fireworks.
Okay, can I ask you a question? And I don't know if you're going to know the answer to this, but were they Grucci fireworks?
I believe so.
And I say that because people don't realize that the Grucci family is also a Long Island owned business that does they do the fireworks for like Macy's New York City fireworks, for the National Monument in DC.
Yeah, it's amazing.
In Dubai.
Great work.
All the great firework displays in the world.
I'm just going to touch on a few more things. The owners of Adventureland opened Splish Splash. Is that true?
Correct. Yeah,
wow.
Back then it was my grandfather, my dad, my uncle. They all kind of had a part, and they actually built it.
That's amazing.
Whoa, I didn't know that.
Fun fact.
And then did you guys sell it?
Yes, they sold it when the Adventureland offer came to be.
Wow, because if you don't know Splish Splash, it's one of the top water parks in the country. I mean,
this thing is awesome.
It's intense, and they weren't able to open last year, so they're opening this summer, and we're so excited.
That's awesome. Us too. We're
it's such cool news, right?
I had no idea. Sharon, that's amazing.
What else we got here? We got a lot. Alyssa gave me a lot of fun facts today.
I know.
Actually, fun fact too.
Yeah, tell us.
When they were naming Splish Splash, they all kind of were brainstorming ideas. What should we do? What should we do? I like that. My mom's name was the winner.
Oh, your mom named Splish Splash?
I love it.
That's genius, by the way, because it's a perfect...
Kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's
a perfect name. That's so cool. I love your fun facts, too. That's awesome.
Why don't you tell me more fun facts?
Anything else? A fun fact that we don't know about? Oh, I know a fun fact that you told me the other day. And also, this is what my daughters would say, #facts. Okay? Best wings ever.
Oh my God, yes.
I'm not
going to Adventureland for the wings.
Most people wouldn't, but I definitely recommend it.
That's so funny.
I'm not even lying. Okay, my daughters, kids.
Yeah,
they're so picky, and they don't like anything. oh my God, the food.
Food is so
Because
bomb.
at first, I'm not going to lie, Jeanine, this is a true story. We sat down at my daughter's because it wasn't open yet, the rides, but people are there for the arcade and the food. And
Which
my
is
daughter's
so
like,
awesome. Your arcade
my
is
daughter's
awesome.
like, so people would just come here for the food? That's random.
Yeah.
Right? Typical 16-year-old. And I'm like, I don't know. So then they get the food and they're like, whoa.
Yeah, it's
These are the
delicious.
best wings.
It's so good.
And the fries. They're so crispy
favorite.
and good. Seriously, my daughter's like, can we go back there
I got
and
it.
get some of
Let's
that?
just go to the arcade.
I know.
But the arcade is an awesome function because, if you're going in, obviously during the summer months and it's like August and it's 1,000 degrees, you want to take a break and you want to cool off, you go into the arcade.
I love that you
It's
say it's
air
1,000
conditioning.
degrees, which is like 90.
I know. It's
If
1,000
that.
degrees.
Because I come from Arizona. It was going to be 105 tomorrow.
Oh yeah, Arizona that gets hot.
Literally. So I'm like 1,000 degrees.
Yeah.
We laugh at your 90. We laugh at you.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but it's such a cool place. And you know what? And the story is really the family. And I love, the future and also the future generations like you of Long Island. And also, we just wrapped up. It's a new month, but we just wrapped up women, in history. And you as, the next female, are you potentially the first female leader, right, of Adventureland.
In this business, in the family, that's me.
Aw,
I
congratulations.
love it.
That's
I
awesome.
know. What a go-getter you are. What an inspiration your family is.
Yes,
you
definitely.
guys, listen, it has been a hard year. It has been a very, very difficult year. And so we're so excited. And everyone should tune in to Long Island TV.
Yeah,
Because
you'll
we have a
get to see the
whole
whole park.
episode
Yeah.
dedicated to it where you can actually see all the cool stuff we're talking about. You can see the wings and the
Yeah.
fries and the bungee and the roller coasters and all the
It's
fun
awesome.
stuff. But honestly, in my opinion, the story is your family and the perseverance that you've
Definitely.
had and also the future of our community, which is you and your brothers. And we're really excited to just support you in any way that we can.
Thank you. We appreciate that. The conversations with you guys throughout this whole pandemic they've meant a lot to us. They really have gotten us through a very, very challenging and difficult time. For the business, this is probably, or without hands down, the most challenging thing we've had to go through as a business, as a family. And so your support has really meant the world to us through it all.
Well, thank you. And you know what? Sharon and I always say is that Long Island is a family. We're all a family together and we're all, it's a really tight community.
Yeah.
And that's why you can't ever leave because you can't replace it,
Yep.
so.
No, I agree.
So we're here for each other and it's tight.
Yes.
And let me tell you, don't try to come in here. Forget about it.
Forget
because
about
if
it.
you try to break up a Long Island family, you know what I'm saying?
Yep. Oh, I know.
Anyway, thank you so
Thank
much
you,
for being
Jeanine.
with
It was
us.
awesome.
Oh,
Tell
thank
your dad
you for
Mom
having
said
us.
hi.
Nice chatting.
Okay,
You too.
bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Sharon, I love her not only because what a strong family business, what a
gosh.
strong family,
Yeah,
period. But, the future generations of Long Island.
Yeah.
And I feel like, hopeful.
Yeah, definitely.
When you-
Especially when you see somebody that young and excited to stay here and
We're in
live
good
here.
hands.
Yeah,
We're in
definitely.
good hands with her and her brothers.
Yeah,
Thanks to her parents.
awesome. It was
Anyway,
awesome.
and what a really cool attraction. Again, tune into Long Island TV.
To see the full park. Yeah, but I was telling you earlier today when we were talking about who our guest was and things like that. But one of the things is, I grew up in the generation of snap bracelets, and when we went to Adventure,
I know.
when you went to Adventureland, you'd keep your bracelet on because it was like pride.
Cool.
It was a cool thing, and some kids had upwards of 6 or 7 bracelets on their wrists at all times.
My kids would say, "You're flexing."
Oh,
That's what they call it when you're when you're showing off. You flex.
yeah.
They're
They
like,
were flexing.
Look
for
at you
sure.
flexing your Adventureland
sure.
bracelets. That's
So
cool.
cute.
So the one thing I will say though, for people that are lifelong Long Islanders, if you are listening, is that it used to be pre-COVID, you would come into the park for free and then pay for tickets and rides.
For the rides, yeah.
And that's not that way anymore because of capacity rules,
Mm-hmm.
which I actually told her I prefer.
It makes it so much easier.
I've got to tell you, I want to say it's like $39 for kids and it's unlimited rides. You get your bracelet, unlimited rides.
Why would you pay for like 20 tickets at a time? You know, like I guess for the grandparents that are like, we're only here for 5 rides.
But you know what? But this is what it said. So adults are $24.95.
Oh, that's awesome.
So adults are actually cheaper. And I was like, when does that ever happen?
Right.
When are adults? And she goes, well, we know adults aren't going to ride
all
the rides.
Yeah.
Right. So you come in and you're cheaper. I'm like, brilliant.
Yes.
And I, first of all, thought it was an incredible value. And because I was like, I would pay that in a heartbeat for all of the rides that they had there and the unlimited. And be like, just not having to get in line. There's nothing more annoying when your kids are like, that was such a cool ride. Can I ride it again?
Right.
And it's 6 tickets. And you're like, I have to go get in line.
Right. Turn it around.
No.
Yeah.
So I love it.
Yeah.
I feel like it's one of those like kind of changes that we're all getting accustomed to, but for the better.
Yeah, definitely.
So anyway, make sure if you want to go to Adventureland, call them up, get your tickets online,
you know,
or call it before because they're at capacity limits, obviously, so they're going to sell out. And I'm for sure one of those people. I'm going.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm
for
taking
sure.
my kids.
Like I was thinking, like, you know, what a year this has been. I want to do something with my kids on the last day of school, like surprise them with something because they just been through hell, you know, and
it's
like
been so hard on the kids.
It's been so hard. So like something celebratory. And I was talking to my husband, Dan, and I was like, why don't we go to Hershey Park? Because we normally go like.
Ooh, that is on my bucket list.
Oh my gosh, you have to do it.
I have wanted to
fun.
go there since the 5th grade.
Oh my gosh, go. 100%. It is so fun. And it's definitely like a 2-day trip. You know, like you can go stay in the hotel. You can they have different parks. But
I want to get the chocolate massage at the spa.
What?
At the Hershey Resort.
That's amazing. But see, he's like, it's going to be 1,000 degrees.
You're such a baby. I laugh at you,
like,
Northeasterners.
We're not going to an amusement park in June because it's hot. But especially like Hershey Park, chocolate melts everywhere. But I was like, okay, what else can we do? I thought
that
of Adventureland.
is a great idea, though. That's a great idea. We're all in the tourism industry.
Right.
We all help each other out.
Yeah.
And we live I always say one of the greatest things about living on Long Island is the proximity to not only everything else to do in New York State, which I haven't even scratched the surface on what to do in upstate in New York State as well as Long Island. But then you can go, you take the ferry, you go to Connecticut, you go to New Jersey. We love Coney Island. Or you can go, you're right here. You can go so many places.
Yeah,
Pennsylvania,
Hershey Park is like
Boston.
4 hours away. You know.
Oh my gosh.
We're just in an incredible spot.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I wanted to go to Hershey because my kids love it. They
feel
keep
like
asking me every single day, like, when are we going back to Hershey?
But instead you'll go to Adventureland.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking.
With 3 kids,
Yeah,
Sharon,
I know.
make it easy on yourself.
Seriously.
I was like, they'll be just as happy.
Yeah, they will. For sure.
And
they loved it.
It's a lot easier on you as a parent.
Yeah.
So speaking of being happy, we have the wine that we're drinking it's a comeback.
Yeah, it's a comeback. It's Saltbird. It's the Sauvignon Blanc. It's delicious. We brought it back because we loved it so much.
Yeah.
It's from Chronicle Wines.
Yeah, Chronicle Wines, Women on Wines. We really, really enjoyed it last time.
Yeah.
And I just felt like I needed a Sauvignon Blanc today.
Yeah, you know.
So Saltbird wine. It's a Sauvignon Blanc, North Fork of Long Island. It's a woman-owned wine, and it's from Chronicle. And we'll put it all in the notes. But okay, so one of the things we announced last episode was our new advice segment.
Mm-hmm. Uncorked
Advice. Thanks to
it.
Chris. Uncorked Advice with Kristen and Sharon. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to lie, I was kind of hoping for some juicy
I know.
juicy
we wanted
advice.
some like juicy questions.
So please give us some
Don't
good
be
juicy
afraid.
advice.
Yeah.
I mean, like questions where I'd rather give like, I don't know why I want to tell you what to do in your life, but in the meantime, we both actually did get reached out to with some questions.
Yeah.
So why don't you tell me your question that you got?
So we had a
hot tea.
A hot tea. But do you want me to name names?
Sure.
Okay.
I mean, she didn't say not to name it, right?
Sure. So she's her Instagram handle is Lola Lima. Mm-hmm. Lola Mina. And well, maybe we can edit this. Let's do. Oh wait. Anyways,
I kind of like it.
I know you always like the.
This is what makes it,
the real,
mm-hmm. The tea.
Okay.
So it's Lola Mina Designs, right?
Yes.
Anyway,
Lola Mina
she
Designs.
follows us. She's a great supporter. I I respond to all of her stuff.
I
She
know,
always
she's been
responds to our stuff.
so
And
amazing and positive.
she's
and
so,
she
I
loves
love her.
everything
I'm
we
always
do.
like, yay.
Yeah. We love everything she does. So anyway, she wanted to know which one of the beaches on Long Island are our favorite beaches.
Okay. So yours is?
It's horrible because
Uh-oh.
I know I can't pick one. That's
What?
my problem.
You're going to do the long, we already talked about Robert Moses.
Robert Moses is my go-to, but I love Gilgo Beach, which is a town beach, so not a lot of people can go to it. But on Cedar Beach, I love because they have the Salt Shack, which
Salt
you can
Shack.
go to.
Salt Shack is everything.
It's awesome.
And that's, again, it's so funny that you call it, I call all of that Jones Beach.
I know, and it's not.
It's
not.
all along Ocean Beach Parkway. It's
Exactly.
all right by Jones Beach.
Kind
all of
of.
it. It's just not
Kind
the
of.
state park. It's all right there.
Right, but then there's Tobay Beach where they have like a restaurant.
Literally right there.
There's so many restaurants, like so many beaches I love. I cannot pick one.
Yeah. So I agree. Although I will tell you that those beaches are like 45 minutes for me. And so sometimes it can be hard to like go that far. And I live on the North Shore, and the North Shore is known for more rocky beaches,
Right.
as you know, because we face the Long Island Sound and not the bottom. But a couple things. So first of all, Fire Island. Come
Sure.
on.
That's the South Shore, though.
Come on. I know. It's South Shore, Fire Island. And Fire Island is like Jones Beach because there's so many different beaches, as we
Yeah.
talked about, but
It's
you
the
can also
barrier
go to Smith
island,
Point, which is Fire Island, and Patrick was Fire. Anyway, but here's a little known secret is on the North Shore, of course, I have like West Meadow, which is the beach in my neighborhood, which I love because it's like so close. But we have a Cedar Beach.
I know you do.
Have you ever been there?
No, you always tell me, and I'm always like, and I'm always thinking you're coming down to me.
Yeah.
And going to my Cedar Beach,
Okay.
and I'm like,
so our Cedar Beach is rocky, but it is, first of all, it is the coolest place to go to on the 4th of July.
Yeah.
Okay.
any beach on Long Island is the coolest place to go to on 4th of July.
But so first of all, they have this outdoor bar.
Yeah,
right there.
yeah.
But
Is
it's
it a
small.
Salt Shack?
No, it's not
Okay.
it's not like that. Like Salt Shack is like big and super cool and
Like,
like
have
this
you
hip
gone
happening.
to Cedar Beach on the South Shore?
No.
I have to take you.
Okay. I've been to Salt Shack. Is that the same thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
On the South Shore?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I've been to the Salt Shack. It's amazing.
Okay.
It's amazing. To me, it reminds me of like spring break, Mexico,
yeah,
right?
it's
amazing.
awesome.
So Cedar Beach North Shore.
Mm-hmm,
It's kind of a secret, right? So it's like smaller version, but it's like a little outdoor, almost like a tiki.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not nearly as big, but the cool thing is live music. It can like the people watching.
Yeah.
It's amazing. But the cool thing is on the 4th of July, the reason I love it is because you can see all the fireworks on the coast of Connecticut.
Oh my goodness.
The whole coastline of Connecticut, all the different fireworks shows
Wild.
from their different
Yeah.
villages. And then we have our own, the fireworks in Port Jefferson. But it's so just fun, neighborhoody.
Yeah.
The neighbors that live along Cedar Beach North Shore make like extravagant like
Stick
structures.
figures. Yeah.
And then they do a bonfire. When I first went there, first of all, here's what you do. You get either a pizza or you go to Seaport Deli and get your sandwiches or KFC bucket of chicken.
Yeah.
If
Good
you're
old
super
faithful.
classy.
No, that's a big thing.
I'm
It's
gonna
a
tell
bucket
you.
of chicken.
You go, you get your chairs lined up, you get situated. I literally thought that it was a 4-alarm house fire. And turns out it's just the neighbors and they do these bonfires.
Right.
Honestly, I feel like you can't go wrong.
No.
Cup sog.
Cupsog, yeah. There's you can walk out for miles.
Come on. It's
Beautiful.
I thank you, Lolomina Designs, and for that question. But
Yeah.
honestly, no wrong answer.
Yeah.
Cooper's Beach is always Dr. Beach's
Number one.
number one
Yeah.
beach in the Hamptons. But Long Islanders will tell you these are the beaches to
Yeah.
go to.
There's
okay?
definitely like secrets.
So I also got reached out to by my friend Pina, who I adore, and she follows us a
Okay.
lot. And she was like, "Hey, we're going up to the North Fork this weekend. What's your favorite vineyard?"
Oh, so cool.
It's like beaches.
Yeah.
There's so many.
Yeah.
How
You
do you
can't
do
pick
this?
one.
Okay, but you talked about your favorite vineyard on the Vogel Twins.
Yeah. Contra Costa is amazing because it's just, I think it's the ambiance, honestly. I mean, they all have an incredible views and different things that they do special or fireplaces or whatever, things like that. But Contra Costa is right on the water.
It's so beautiful.
You walk out. I mean, you grab a bottle and a couple glasses, and like you're just left alone. I mean, it's amazing, and the wine is delicious.
It really is. So I love Sparkling Point.
I love Sparkling Point. I love Sparkling Point too.
It's so good. It's all
Raphael,
sparkling.
like, oh my
and
gosh.
the first one you'll hit on the way out there is RGNY.
Yeah.
And again, the
Which-
woman owned.
Yeah, she's awesome.
She's great. And then also Palmer. You know, they have the pizza oven.
Yeah, the brick
there.
oven pizzas. Yeah.
I think it's important. So
Yeah.
anyway, that's our
and then we can't forget Wolfer.
Okay, so that's on the South Shore.
Okay,
Or in
but
the
still.
South Fork.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good. Also, I wrote her back and I was like, P.S. If you're going to the Vineyards and you haven't been in a year, make sure you call in advance and make reservations.
Yes,
because
definitely.
a lot of them used to be reservation only, but most of them are now.
Yeah, and it's important for yourself anyway, just to do that. You know, like so you know that you have the day planned.
Yep.
You have whatever.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, we're here for you.
Yeah, totally.
Uncorked advice with Sharon and Kristen. So thank you guys for writing in. Sharon, do you know what time it is?
Oh, it's tea time.
Okay. What's your tea?
I have some really good tea
Ooh,
today.
let's hear it.
I'm really excited to announce that I got my first dose of the vaccination.
Whoop,
Whoop, whoop.
We're like the Vogel twins. Woo!
Woo!
The Vogel
Yay!
twins! I know. I love them.
No, I'm super excited though. Like it, you know, one of our board members kind of clicked that switch for me. Even just if I was a little concerned about.
Oh, really? Who?
Mitch Pally. When
Really?
he
I
said like
love
that
Mitch Pally.
feeling of just that relief.
He said it was equally as psychological as it is physical.
And he's 100% right.
Yep.
I have to say 100% right, because it's so true. I mean, like I'm only on my first dose and I'm kind of nervous about the second one, not going to lie. But I just feel like, wow. And I'm going away next month. So I'm like, I'm going to be fully vaccinated and to where I'm going, I'm so excited. You know, like it's just.
Yeah. And Imran got his first
we're
vaccine,
getting
our other
there,
team
you
member
know.
today. And I get my second next week.
I know. It's definitely like I totally understand what Mitch was saying, because it's like a psychological effect. Like, wow, I'm halfway there. And I was talking to the nurses there, because what a seamless process it was. Honestly, you log on to the website, you put in your information, you pick your appointment, you show up. It was within 20 minutes, honestly.
Again, I mean, we've been giving kudos and shout outs to the healthcare workers this entire time. But the counties and the state and the healthcare workers, everybody I've talked to, I mean, what an undertaking.
100%. I mean, like I said, I was talking to the nurses. I was talking to the woman who was like monitoring you after 15 minutes of your shot. She was amazing. She was a marketing person for Northwell. I mean, she was there just monitoring people, and somebody was asking her. He was like, this is a young kid. Well, I shouldn't say young kid. It's 30 and over now.
Yeah. Okay.
So he's.
But for us,
right?
Well, you're a young kid.
Well, no, but still, like he's like, hey, can I work out today? And she's like, is it mandatory?
That was literally me. I had to cancel my bar
Well,
class.
he's sitting there with his muscles like falling over the
I don't
chair.
have
You know,
muscles. Never mind.
Like, you could, like this is a long like he was a meathead.
Yeah, he's like,
you know,
oh.
like.
He's like Jim Tan Laundry.
Yes. So he's like, can I work out today? And she's like, I mean, is it mandatory?
Yeah,
And he's
can you
like,
skip it?
yeah. And he's
Seriously.
like, I guess not. And she's like, I mean, you can work out today, but I'm not a healthcare physician. So like the
She's
nurse
like,
was standing there. And
Maybe
she's like,
just take a day.
she's like, maybe take a day and drink a margarita. You know, like you're fine.
Drink a margarita.
She's fine. And I fell in love with her. So like, I'm like, so how's it going? Like, it's been a seamless process this whole time for me in the 15 minutes that I've been here. Like, it was so quick and easy. I'm like, are you seeing people who are like so happy about being vaccinated and just like walking out like so proud? And she's like, you know what I'm seeing? A sense of relief.
Oh.
She's like, you can see people taking a deep breath after and just walking out and just relieved. And I was like, 100%.
Okay, I love that. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
That very personal tea. And thank you.
And it's piping hot. It happened today.
It's piping hot. Happened today. And thank you for getting vaccinated. Also, so my tea is that I was asked this week to be on the Economic Advisory Committee for Nassau County. Laura Curran, the executive, the county executive for Nassau County, she had this economic advisory committee during COVID,
Right.
to help talk about businesses and then to help talk about business recovery and the reopenings and all these things. And now we've got this great opportunity with federal funding coming through.
Mm-hmm.
So she reestablished this economic advisory committee with all the key industries of the region to talk about how we can best utilize these dollars for economic recovery. And I'm just so grateful and honored that she realizes the impact of tourism,
definitely,
and our industry and what visitors mean and what our businesses represent. So I'm excited to talk about what we need to get tourism back, and to help provide some guidance on how we can best utilize those dollars for recovery and get our businesses back in play. And
I just think small businesses, that's
exactly.
Awesome.
Splish Splash is one of the top water parks in the country.
Right.
And, people don't realize New York, we locked down harder than most
they really
any
don't.
other
Like,
state.
if they didn't experience it the way we did, they just didn't understand it. Like, I remember talking to family members in Florida or North Carolina or even Maine, and they were just like, what do you mean? And I'm like, no, you don't get it.
Still to this day. Let me give you another piece of tea. I'm going to give you extra tea.
Ooh.
Are you ready for the extra tea?
I'm ready. It's brewing.
So here's the extra tea. No, this is big.
Okay.
Is that we just announced a direct flight from Long Island MacArthur Airport to Nashville.
I'm so excited.
Starting June 6th.
It's like one of my, have you ever been there?
Oh, yeah.
It's one of my dreams to go there, and like nobody wants to
you've never
go.
been there?
No, I've never been.
Oh my God, we should go to girls trip.
Yay! It's going to be
Alyssa,
awesome.
are you coming?
Yay!
Okay, I've been there.
Okay.
So I can guide us.
Yay!
I love Nashville. It is so cool. And I'm not a huge country music person,
right?
But
just
you
the
don't
history,
have to be. You don't have to be. I mean, there's the Johnny Cash Museum.
Which I love Johnny Cash.
By the way, so many great restaurants.
Right.
So many awesome bars. The music scene there is amazing. You don't have to like country
music. Yeah.
To like Nashville. So that starts June 6th, and it's funny because we were working with the airport to do a collaborative marketing campaign where, of course, we're telling Long Islanders about this new flight to Nashville, which is amazing, which we're all going to take. But we also want to invite everyone from Nashville to come to Long Island.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, so Nashville's doing NASCAR events, and they're doing this event and this event. Like, what events are you doing at Long Island? I'm like, okay, everybody calm down.
Right.
I was
7 a.m.
Let me tell you, we've got the Bethpage Air Show. We do have events, but they're at limited capacity. We're still being very, very careful here on Long Island.
Right.
So I'm still very tentative and careful about inviting people here to come to these events because we are just in a different situation.
We
always have been. And it's been very difficult on our businesses, but we're doing it in what I think is a very responsible and safe way so that when you do go out and vaccinated, and wearing your mask still.
Right.
And following
Social
all
distance,
of the CDC precautions that you can go out safely and that you can have a great experience and still feel good and not be afraid.
Right.
And so I struggle with that. But
well, we'll come up with it. We always do. We have great ideas.
Listen, you can come here, obviously. And it's it's different because Nashville is a downtown. And so they have those great
one
events.
Downtown, yeah.
And 4th of July. Whereas Long Island, like we just talked about, you can go to so many different beaches.
Yeah.
You can spread out. You can go to the park. There's so many places you can go on Long Island and still feel open air, spread out, socially distanced,
comfortable,
all those things. Mm-hmm. So we're going to communicate that to all of you Nashville residents.
That's a good tea. I love it. I'm excited.
So book your flights now because it's funny because I was telling Butch, I was like, we're going to work together and we're going to come and we're going to come there. Yeah. And I was like, you're not going to have to convince Long Islanders to go to Nashville. It's going to be so awesome.
No, everybody's so thankful for it.
And also people in Nashville, we're going to be like, hi, this is called The Beach.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. Anyway, so we have a lot more to come for you in the coming weeks. But in the meantime, Sharon and I are going to finish this wine and say cheers. And see you next week.